was absolutely my intention to do sort of like a little preview today and a little build-up to the game against Sunderland. After all, it's the start of the season, and after all, I've done a lot of moaning myself, I'm talking about here, over the last 24, 48 hours. But this can't be avoided. There's just no way at all. And I will talk about the Sunderland game. We'll get to that in the second half of the video. But if I just talk about the Sunderland game, people are going to say, hold on, Gonzo, what about Lucas Paquetá? Look, let me start by this. I'm going to play you a clip now of what I said in Thursday's video. Well, Lucas Paquetá, got no problem at all with him, of course. Then you've got... And listen, there's no... By the way, there's no certainty. It's not guaranteed that Lucas Paquetá is here past the end of this transfer window. You know, that if that happened, that would move very, very quickly. And look, so it's played out. And it's the most predictable thing in the world. I mean, really is the most predictable thing. It's gutting. It really, really is. I hinted at it in yesterday's video again. And it seems that is coming to play. Fabrizio Romano said yesterday, he tweeted out last night, Lucas Paquetá considering to explore options to leave West Ham this summer. After a difficult 18 months on a personal level, now free from all accusations, Paquetá considers fresh challenge as a possibility. No final decision made yet, but reviewing options for his future. That's the precursor. You heard what I said a couple of days ago. He's leaving. I mean, has he signed a deal to go? No. And when I said it, people were saying, "Oh, I don't believe it. This is nonsense." And I don't want it to be true. I want to keep him. Actually, the bit where I was speaking was in a segment where I said he was the one quality player we have in midfield. When I was thinking about maybe we would bring Mukau in and maybe we would bring Fernandes in, I thought it'd be those two and Paquetá that would play in midfield. I think we only have 3 players who absolutely are guaranteed to start because they are proven beyond doubt as sort of Premier League quality, and Paquetá was one of them. So I do not want this player to leave. But I do also believe that this is one of the reasons that we've not done much business in midfield yet. And much as it pains me to say it, I think probably Paquetá moving on is going to facilitate the other transfers coming in. I think the club are in an absolute mess at the moment. I mentioned the messaging a couple of days ago. I said I absolutely refute that. I cannot. I can only really double down on what I've already said, which is when the clubs say it's really difficult to find players better than what we got. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. It's almost like they're talking like we've got Clarence Seedorf and Zinedine Zidane in midfield and we can't find anyone to improve on that. Our midfield's pretty rank, and that's the truth of the matter. And as I said, I don't particularly want to talk like this on the eve of the game, and I'm going to switch it up. I think we should be able to. I don't think it's as difficult. I think the West Ham board find it difficult to improve on the players we got because I think we find it difficult to sign players. And here we are at precisely the position I didn't want to be in at the start of the season, which is not enough players over the line. Who realistically we had 3 main saleable assets. If you accept that we were never going to sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka off of the back of his first season, particularly as he's already had a big move to a club when he moved to Manchester United and will have been perceived to have failed. Listen, I'm not calling him a failure, far from it. I think everybody went to Manchester United and struggled really, didn't they, under the numerous regimes over recent years. But make no mistake about it, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka we'd signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Accrington Stanley and he'd had that season, and he was 23 years of age, we wouldn't be able to keep hold of him. Look, you don't need me to explain why we've kept hold of Jared Bowen. So really, our 2 saleable assets are Mohamed Kudus and Lucas Paquetá, and there you go. So that's that. It's pretty depressing stuff, really. And the club are in a bit of a mess for all reasons I discussed yesterday and then the day before when I did the financial video. I just at a point where I have zero confidence that there is an infrastructure at the club that has the ability to take us forward. So those are my concerns right now. And since it's only the last 48 hours have only made that worse. The club have said, and I've calmed down a little bit since yesterday's video, it's now more disappointment. Club have said, judge us at the end of the transfer window. Okay. And that's what I'll do. Which brings us on to the game against Sunderland, which is a must-win game, and this is why we have to speak about Paquetá, because will he play? You'd suspect he will, and I suspect he'll put in a good performance, but it's disappointing. I don't just think this is entirely just the club wanting to sell him. I think Potter would probably like to keep him, but Paquetá would like to go, and I just don't think we're going to put up much resistance. I think if we honestly wanted to say, look, please, Lucas, give us one more season, I think he possibly would stay. I don't think he's going to kick off. But I think him giving an indication that he'd be happy enough to leave will probably be enough for us. Remains to be seen how that money would be invested. But it's very hard not to be deflated by that news on the eve of the season starting. So much has been done to create a sort of buoyant team spirit at the club by Potter and his coaching team, and it's a real shame you keep seeing Paquetá and Fulkrug dancing, and Fulkrug's trying to copy his Paquetá dance, and it's all lovely stuff, and it's really nice, and this is incredibly disappointing. The point is, I feel our midfield is probably about as bad as it can get. Well, I was wrong. It can get worse. And I think it's about to. So I think Graham Potter would do really, really well to get a result at Sunderland today. And I think he can, by the way. I think he can. I know I predicted that we'd lose 2-1 in the preview. But yeah, look, you've got to give a prediction, right? We can win this. We absolutely can. There was nothing outstanding about Sunderland's pre-season, but I do think they've bought well, and as I mentioned in the preview with Gio, I'm very, very worried about their right winger that they bought from Bruges. I don't know why his name's got 4 letters in it. It begins with T. I don't know why I'm able to forget his name. I'm worried about him in particular, particularly getting in between Juff and a Gerd, because they're trying to develop a partnership, and certainly Juff is someone that's going to be wanting to bomb forward, and we'll probably need him to. But I'm worried about the game itself. It's not been the sort of transfer window that inspires confidence. Let me say it that way. It's the type of transfer window that's having me worried. I think we've got to feel like it's not just a skeleton squad. We've got a bloated squad in many respects. We've got too many players in some positions that aren't good enough to play in the first team, and then not enough players in other positions, and that's not going to serve us well. But I think very much almost behind the scenes, we've got very much a skeleton crew in terms of David. There's just no way David Sullivan should be doing the negotiating for players. It's just, I think we're the only club that do that. Everybody else has got it's got a director of football and a negotiator, somebody like that. This is really bad. I guess the one saving grace is that we've not had any. Since I did my video yesterday about Fernandes, there wasn't any additional stories, and it could be that Manchester City are signing James McAtee and Rico Lewis, and I think they're signing almost so many players. Amari Hutchinson, did you hear that one? That maybe they weren't able to buy Fernandes as well. I really hope we get him. I really do, and I've not given up all possibility of West Ham having a decent team this season, but there's no way I can sit here. I'd be completely false for sat here and started being all happy and jolly, thinking it's going to be brilliant. When I've already sat here on the previous weeks and said one of the key reasons if West Ham do stay up, one of the key reasons will be Lucas Paquetá, and we got Jared Bowen and Aaron Wan-Bissaka there to take one of those 3 components out and then make out everything's going to be hunky-dory. I think that's hard. I mean, even if you accept that he's going to leave, and we're going to have whatever money you think we might get for him, and that might buy us 2 midfielders, there's nothing to say we're going to get those deals over the line. We're pretty bad at this stuff. And whilst Tim Stuyton has been criticised by the club for overpaying, you may well find that West Ham have to overpay to get these players in. It's a bit of a mess. And the Premier League is upon us. I mean, 4-2. Liverpool, Bournemouth, and Bournemouth were better than to lose 4-2. You watch, Salah wasn't great all game, and then he goes and scores a goal like that at the end. Ekitike looked brilliant. Of course, as I remember, I might have this wrong, but weren't we going to sign him from PSG? And I think that was the one where David Moyes decided he wanted to keep his money or something like that, or use it for something else. I think that was the case. You'd have to go and check it yourself, but I definitely remember the old ticker tape running on Sky Sports News or whatever. I think we were quite close to signing him. That looks like a bit of an error, doesn't it? Really. So, but they looked. Well, Bournemouth. Do you know what? Forget Liverpool. I would expect Liverpool to be good. Bournemouth looked like you would expect Bournemouth to look, and they've sold loads of players and lost loads of players. They play with such intensity. I really like him. I really like Iraola. Would have loved him to have been the guy to replace David Moyes, and said so at the time. And anyway, there you go. That's what can be done about that now. Well, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I did notice Harvey Elliott didn't get on, and maybe that's something we do. Maybe I always thought he was going to be Paqueta's replacement if Paqueta left, or even if in the event maybe Paqueta getting banned. Maybe that's back on now. Maybe that's one of them. I don't know. Very, very hard. I'm just sort of throwing words out there at the moment without really any belief behind what I'm saying. So we're going to need the team to do that today. I'm looking forward to it and dreading it, actually. So we'll see you in the build-up. We'll see you in the build-up. See you in the build-up show. Hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. We'll run for the teams. We'll do a little bet. Win someone some money, hopefully. That should be good. Hopefully win someone some money. Anyway, there you go. What can I say? Sunderland against West Ham. The Premier League's kicking off, but we may be about to lose our record ever signing.